Shamai, this may well be an important video for you. I'm going to run through my 5 top pieces of essential kit. In other words, things I take with me everywhere whenever I'm playing my bass. So yeah, number 1, the most obvious, a bass. It's not quite that straightforward, or certainly not for me anyway. First of all, I tend to take 2 basses wherever I'm playing, just in case something goes wrong. Quite often I leave one locked away safely somewhere, all right, but I generally have 2 basses with me. So it isn't just which bass do I take, I also have to be thinking, am I taking other instruments? Because, for example, if I'm playing ukulele and bass, I've just been in the Maesteg Festival the other day, I knew I was going to be playing bass and ukulele, so I had to think, how am I going to be carrying them? So yeah, I actually have a double case. It is a bit of a monster, but this doesn't fit all my mini basses, the solid body ones. It's about 2 inches short, which is a real shame. So yeah, I do have to think, if I'm carrying multiple instruments, which bass am I going to take? Or I'm carrying loads of different cases. So instrument sorted. Number 2, how am I going to connect my instrument to an amp or a PA? Cables, all right, really, really important. You have to be able to plug your instrument into the source of the sound. Make sure that your cables are long though, because you never know how far away from the sound source you're going to be. You could, of course, these days go wireless. I've done enough reviews on them now, all right? So you could have a transmitter and a receiver system. You plug one into your instrument and one into the amp or the PA system, but still have cables, all right? Seriously, again, I was in a gig recently. Somebody wanted to plug the wireless transmitter into the mixer. It was our mixer. We'd already tried, I think it was 3 or 4 sets of transmitters and different instruments, and for whatever reason we were in a wireless dead spot. Okay, they just didn't, it wasn't breaking up or anything, they just did not work. So this guy was like, no, mine will work, plugged it in, didn't work, he didn't have a cable with him. Luckily I did. So you've got your instrument, you are connected to some sound. Now, if you're like me, I read chord charts or music, so I always have my iPad. It doesn't have to be Apple. You can have an Android tablet. You can even go old school and use sheets, paper sheets, I know, all right? But yeah, I always have something to read from. So yeah, you might have actually noticed this is a kid's iPad case, all right? I'm terrified it's going to drop onto a concrete floor somewhere. So this one is really heavy duty. But yeah, because I've got the big bulky case, it no longer fits on a normal iPad stand. Not the end of the world though, because I very often use a microphone. So all I do is I use a microphone stand. I've got a clamp that this fits onto, and because there's a strap on the back of it as well, it's really, really secure on stage. But yeah, if you're like me and you use chord charts or music, you are going to need something to actually read that from. And while we're talking about tablets and reading and all that kind of thing, these for me are absolutely essential. They are Bluetooth page turners. And when my foot presses on one of these, it turns my page. Essential, especially if you're a bass player that reads music like me. Very often on my iPad, some of the pieces of music can be 2, 3, 4, 5 pages long. So it means I can turn the page without stopping playing. So that's reading the music covered. iPad, stand, something to put your iPad on. And for me anyway, essential how I turn the pages. Number 4, essential bit of kit, tuners. You have to make sure that your bass or ukulele or any instrument is in tune. These are great, little clip-on tuner. This one is by Legato. I actually recommend this one mainly because it does tune your basses and it's USB rechargeable, so no batteries for that. So there is a clip-on tuner. So apart from clip-on tuners, you can get floor tuners or pedal tuners. This one is on my pedal board. This one is a really good one, a Peterson Strobe tuner. However, just having a tuner plonked on the floor as a single pedal would work as well, all right? But you've got to make sure you're in tune. So a clip-on tuner, a pedal tuner. Worst case, download a tuner app on your phone. I don't recommend doing that, generally because you need to be able to hear it. So you imagine now you're in the middle of a loud, noisy room, loads of people are talking and playing, and you're trying to tune your bass to this. Either you're going to be really loud through your amp, or it's going to be really difficult to pick it up. So I wouldn't go with an app unless it was an emergency. Clip-on tuner or pedal. And my fifth bit of kit that I find essential and always take with me, I don't always use, but I always take with me, is a preamp pedal. Now then, why a preamp pedal? It's got a lot of things built into it. First of all, they tend to have an EQ. They can do all sorts of weird and wonderful things with your tone, and they generally have a DI out. That means that if I've got a preamp pedal on the floor, I don't necessarily need an amp. I can go straight into a mixer, into a PA. Now, this preamp is on my pedal board. Suddenly now, I've got my tuner on there, I've got my preamp on there. All right, so it's making sense. I could take this if I knew I didn't need to use an amp. And it doesn't even need to be on a pedal board. My Behringer BDI 21, that is a preamp. It's got its DI out there, and this one has even got a built-in battery, so I don't need to have a separate power source on stage for it. So this goes with me everywhere. I don't use it a lot of the time, but it's there in case I need to go direct into a mixer, into a PA, or something has gone wrong with an amp, or I don't have an amp with me. So those are my 5 essential bits of kit that I literally take with me everywhere. But there is something missing, the elephant in the room, and I've just mentioned it now. All right, I don't always take an amp with me. If I'm going to rehearsals or I'm going somewhere where I know I'm going to use an amp, I'll take it with me. Sometimes I'll put an amp in the car, knowing I probably don't need it, but just in case. But there are occasions when I know I'm going to turn up, there is going to be a PA setup, and I really don't need my amplifier with me. Okay, so that's why it didn't make it into the top 5 essential bits of kit. If I've got a preamp pedal with me, okay, or my pedal board, I know I don't necessarily need an amp. And let's be honest, if there's a bit of kit that's heavy and bulky, it's your amplifier. Even though I've sort of miniaturized everything down these days, all right, if I can get away with not taking an amp, I do. So those are the bits of kit that I find essential. You may have other things. Oh my God, I've forgotten something, a kazoo. All right, but I'm not even going to add that to any list. All right, but you might find that what you take is essential to you. Hopefully, you may think, oh, I should always have one of those with me now. All right, but that's what I always take with me, okay? And I panic sometimes if I turn up somewhere and I haven't got my iPad stand. It happened the other day, I had to use a music stand. But I do think when I'm packing things, I don't want to be taking stuff that I don't need. But yeah, let me know in the comments actually if there are things that you take which are essential bits of kit to you that I haven't mentioned today. And yeah, I use a Behringer pedal. You could use any preamp pedal. I tend to use certain tuners. You can use any tuners, okay? But it's the general bits of kit that I just want to let you know about. Bass, instrument to play. Cables or wireless transmitters to connect your instrument. Your iPad with a stand and possibly a page turning pedal so you can read your chords and things. Your tuner, you've got to be in tune. It doesn't matter whether it's a clip-on tuner or whether it's a pedal tuner, all right? Make sure your instrument is in tune. And a preamp pedal or a DI box or a pedal board, some way of you getting into that mixer with a DI or an XLR out, okay, just in case. And yeah, lots of you could well take amps everywhere. If I can get away with not taking an amp, I will, but generally I've sneaked one into the car somewhere. So I hope you found this video useful. It's been one I've been meaning to do for ages, and I am literally just packing my gear up now to go to Cool Hand Duke's ukulele club tonight, and I was in my Stag on the weekend, so I'm sort of transferring all my equipment from one bass case to another. So I thought, right, let's share my essential kit with you guys. If you'd like to support me here on the channel, I do have a Patreon page, and I'll pop a link in the description below for that. I really hope you've at least found this useful or enjoyed the video. As always, if you've got any comments or questions, please feel free, leave them below. Give us a like if you've enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. Thank you for watching.